Hi. Are you struggling with debt? Are you still trying to dig your way out of debt? Are you tired of not having money to spend on yourself? What about having more month at the end of the month than you have money? Well, I'm going to share with you my story of how I erased $46,000 worth of debt by filing bankruptcy. My name is Bertha Williams, and I like to share my story with you about bankruptcy, just in case you're dealing with overwhelming debt, just in case you're having sleepless night because you don't have the monies to pay all your debts, just in case you're robbing from Peter to pay Paul, just in case you're tired of struggling from day to day, from month to month, from year to year. Just in case you want to do something different in your life. My journey started out as I was paying my bills pretty much on time, from month to month. And I got into a situation where I wasn't able to pay my bills, all of my bills. And what I would do, I would pay this one this month and then pay the other one the next month. And I got behind in my car note. Well, I was trying to catch it up and I couldn't. And so after about 3 months, my car note was a little heavy for me, got a little heavy for me. And so I decided that I would try to, make a payment here and there and try to so that I could keep my car. Well, in the meantime, in the between time, I got sued by a debt collector. And that just scared the bejesus out of me. So I was still struggling, trying to pay bills here and there, robbing Peter, paying Paul, robbing Paul, paying Peter here and there, and whatever. Trying to keep up with my utilities and my rent and all that kind of stuff. And it just wasn't getting any better. And so after I got sued by this debt collector that I did not owe a penny, I had to go to court concerning that debt. And when I went to court, they summoned me to court. And when I went to court, I denied the debt. And so they set a date for me to come back to court to go before a jury. And so I was so stressed out and nervous and shaking and what have you. Couldn't sleep at night, was restless because I didn't have the monies and I didn't owe this debt. They had bought it from another account that I owed. And so they were going to sue me to make me pay that debt. And so it rocked on and rocked on. And so after I went to court and what have you, and they set a trial date, a court date for me to come back, I got really nervous and I just started praying and I said, I don't want to do this. I don't know what to say. I don't have no documentation that I could take to court with me or anything to prove my case, and only by word of mouth that I didn't owe the debt. And so after getting behind in my car payments, um, I thought about filing bankruptcy. And then I was nervous about that. I was struggling with that decision. And so after I lost my car and everything, I said, well, whatever. I mean, it's just time to do this. And what I did was I attempted to, well, I did. I proceeded to call several lawyers' offices, and they want so many thousands of dollars for up front for me to file the bankruptcy. And I didn't have the money to do that. And so then what I did, I contacted a lawyer that I found online that would take my case. And so what I had to do with them was to, of course, I had to pay the filing fee first of all, and then I would have to pay my increments of a certain amount until I paid off the debt with the lawyer. And so I did. I called them, I contacted them to start the process. But what happened was, for some odd reason, when I called the office, they sent me to another office that was supposed to be handling their account. And when I talked with the person on the line and asked them, was they affiliated with the lawyer office that I had, they said yes. And I told them that I wanted to proceed with filing my bankruptcy. Well, they told me to leave my name and my information and what have you, and they'll get back in contact with me. Well, after a month, I heard nothing from them. And so I got kind of sad and disturbed and still stressed out because I, don't have the monies, and they suing me and what have you. And court date was coming up soon, and I didn't know what to do. So I continued on looking online for lawyers. Then after I found this lawyer that I was able to pay the monies, monthly payments to, I said, okay. So after I called and got some other person, so I know no one ever got back in touch with me. So I said, well, I spent the money, my filing fee money. I spent it. I had to pay somebody. I had to pay rent and all that kind of stuff. So I spent the filing fee. And so after about a month, I said, let me call this lawyer's office back again. And so I did. I called them back again, and I told them I was ready to proceed with the filing. And so they told me the amount of money that I needed to send them in order to file. And then they told me I needed to get up all these different documents and what have you, and send them to them so they can start processing them, which I did. I mean, it was just so, oh my God, it was just so it's so frustrating, so aggravating. I got so upset with trying to get this paperwork together because I had to go back 6 months. I had to do 6 months of bank accounts and that kind of thing, and this and that and what and everything. And so I went and I finally got all the documents together. And I sent the documents to the lawyer's office, and I waited and I waited and I waited, and I didn't hear anything from them. So after about 3 weeks, I called, and they told me that they got some paperwork, but they didn't know who the paperwork belonged to. So I'm like, huh? Are you kidding me? After all this time, and nobody contacted me and said anything to me about what was going on? I got really upset. I mean, that thing really upset me because I'm thinking I'm being processed and I'm being held up because they don't even have my documents. They don't even have my paperwork. So they can't get started on my case. Man, I wrestled and I wrestled with this thing, and I tell you the truth, I lost sleep over that. I got weak and everything over this here filing because I wanted this thing done. I was trying to keep my car. They said if I filed the paperwork, then that would give me an opportunity to get a stay on my car, and until after the bankruptcy, I could hold on to my car until after the bankruptcy. Well, that didn't happen because they didn't get the paperwork started. So, therefore, one morning I get ready to go out to get into my car, and it's gone. And I'm saying, oh my God. And so I just come on back in the house and sit down and just start weeping because I didn't have any more transportation. I didn't know how I was going to get around. And I had filed these send these papers in so they could get the process started for me. And it didn't happen. And I told them about it. When I called back, I had to tell them how upsetting that was. And they should have called me. If the paperwork that I was supposed to be sending in was taking too long, they should have called me and let me know that they still was looking for my paperwork, and I would have let them know that I had already sent it in. And so the papers that they was looking at, they belonged to me. Oh God. And I had to go to an Office Depot to pay I paid about $40 to copy all that paperwork in order to send it to them. And they hadn't got it. And so I said, well, okay. So then I had to go back to work and start all over and get all that paperwork again to send to them again. So I did it. And every day it was, this is missing and that is missing. And we didn't get this and we didn't get that. And I'm telling you the truth. I tell you, I like to pull all my hair out. It was so frustrating. I said, Lord, help me, Jesus, because this is, I don't know. This is not working. It's not working, Lord. And I began to weep and I began to cry and I began to call out to the Lord because this, I'm telling you the truth. I just started feeling some crazy kind of way. All kind of crazy thoughts started coming into my mind. And I know that was not me because I love life. I love my life. And I want to live out my life to the fullest. And so I finally got all the paperwork into them. Then they tell me that it was going to take about 2 to 3 weeks to be assigned to a paralegal. And I said, oh Lord, here we go. Another waste of months. Okay. So then they sent me to a paralegal. And then the paralegal was asking me different questions and wanted more paperwork. And they didn't get this and didn't get that again. I'm saying, oh Lord Jesus, help me. And so, finally, they finally got all the paperwork in and said they were going to file me. So in between time, all the creditors that was harassing me every day, all up until 9 o'clock at night, all those phone calls, day in and day out, and day in and day out, I just shut my phone off because I was getting so many phone calls, and it was just aggravating and frustrating me so bad. And so, but after they filed the paperwork, and maybe in a couple of days, I stopped getting all the phone calls, but my car was gone. I didn't have a car anymore. And so, after the paralegal got the work and paperwork and filed the paperwork, then it took probably another month before they contacted me again and sent me a text saying that I had the 341 meeting. Well, the 341 meeting is when I have to appear to before the creditors and the processor, the person that does the trustee. So I had to appear before them. So they set my meeting up for a certain date, and when that date came, we did it on a Zoom call. And I had to appear. So I went on the call, and while I'm on the call, the paralegal from the law firm was on there as well, and so there was an issue with my address. Well, I gave them the address where I live at, and I also gave them the address where I get my mail at. So it was a conflict. So they told me that they were going to have to continue my 341 meeting. And here I go again in shambles. I'm telling you, I'm like, oh God, all kind of thoughts start coming through my head. I'm like, Lord, 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 what? I'm telling you, it was, oh my God. Listen, it was stressful. It was very, very stressful. The whole process was very stressful. But they did set my meeting, my 341 meeting, for it was like maybe 2 weeks down the road. But the problem was, they didn't notify me. They did not tell me that I had a set date for the Zoom meeting. I had no information on how to get on the Zoom meeting or anything. Oh my God. I tell you. Woo! You talking about somebody who was happy when this thing was over. I was a happy camper. You hear me? Because all that I had went through that whole process, things that they should have taken care of and they neglected, caused me even more stress. And it shouldn't have been like that. But nevertheless, when I called them and they told me I had the 341 meeting on a certain date, I said, well, nobody called me. Nobody texted me. Nobody let me know. How was I supposed to know this? Y'all done set a meeting for me to be at, and then I knows nothing of it. So if I don't make this meeting, then they're going to close my case. Like, y'all got to be kidding me. So they gave me the date that I was supposed to meet with the 341 again. And so I went on the Zoom meeting that date. And the trustee was asking me concerning my addresses. Why do I have 2 different addresses, and which one do I live at? And I told them the address that I lived at, but I get all my mail at my mom's house, which is the address that's on my license and the address that I use. Well, it was a conflict. The trustee told me, said that was not right, that I needed to have the address where I lived at on my license because it's against the law. I said, well, that's what I've been doing this for years. This is the way I've done. I've never changed my driver's license. So my driver's license is still at my mom's house and I live somewhere else. And until the time for me to change my license again, then that's the way it's going to be. I mean, you know, so anyway, so she talked back and forth with my lawyer that was in the meeting. And so she said, okay, well, let's forget about the address. Let's go continue on with the meeting. So we continued on with the meeting. She asked all the different questions that she needed to ask me and what have you. And once we finished with that, then she said I was free to go. And so I hung my phone up. And a few minutes later, my lawyer called to tell me that that was it. That was the end of the bankruptcy as far as they were concerned. I didn't have to do anything else. It was over. All I had to do was wait about 6 weeks before they send me a discharge. And that would be the end of it. So, but listen, to get to this point, to get to that point, all the hell that I went through to get to this point, you know? But nevertheless, I got there. Woo! Praise the Lord. Thank you, Jesus. I finally got there. And I would advise anyone that's struggling with debt, that can't meet their monthly payments, anybody that is overwhelmed by debt, to get a fresh start, bankruptcy is the way to go. Depending on which bankruptcy that you file. I filed the Chapter 7. So that dissolved my debts, all except for my student loans and if I owed the IRS, child support, or anything like that, federal, then it didn't count. I still had to pay those debts. And so I was happy. I have student loans, but I don't owe the IRS, I don't owe child support, anything like that. But to get rid of $46,000 worth of debt was worth the stress and the hell that I went through. So if you are going through any of those challenges, if you are having sleepless night because of debt, I adjure you, I advise you to contact a lawyer, file bankruptcy, and get free of that debt. It will take not just one load, but it'll take many loads off your back. You will have a fresh start. You can start all over again. Thank you for watching. Share this video with someone that you know is going through hell with debts. Someone that's struggling with debt from day to day, from month to month. Someone that needs a fresh new start. Comment, like, and share this video. Have a blessed day.